explorers of LaSalle. In the white uniforms, DePaul. The last time they met was in 1987, and DePaul has won 6 in a row. Outside, Jack Hurd attempting the shot. The ball goes out of bounds. There is no score. We have just begun the game. This is the guy, Kevin Holland, who will have a tough defensive assignment. He's going to pick up one of the premier players in the country, Lionel Simmons. He is number 22. He has the ball now. He's one of the outstanding collegiate players who just missed the shot.
Well, LaSalle's zoned that out of bounds, Gary, so we didn't see the matchup. But that's going to be interesting to see what DePaul does in defensing Simmons.
Here is Stephen Howard, who's coming off of a 19-point game, and he has the Blue Demons on the scoreboard.
Boy, what a surprise he's been this year for DePaul. He has really come through as an offensive threat.
Here's a guy considered to be the best point guard in his conference, the MAC conference, Overton. Off to Woods, who last year was a Prop 48 player. Here is Woods, a good three-point shooter. He had 4 in the last game against Fresno State. Tracked down by Lieberst. That's Milko Lieberst, who is from the Netherlands.
Here's the matchup with Lionel outside with Holland on him, and that's his patented move right there, is to go for that jump shot off of the dribble. And whether or not Holland can stay with him and put enough pressure on him to cause him miss like he did right then is important to DePaul.
Jack Hurd committed a foul. Hurd got in foul trouble early in the last game for LaSalle, and he fouled Holland on the play, and up for the ball, here comes Chucky Murphy, a walk-on a year ago for DePaul, up to Melvon Foster. David Booth, their leading scorer.
I think it's interesting that LaSalle opened in the man-to-man defense, but you can expect to see them go to the zone sometime today.
They played a lot of zone in the last game. Three-pointer is there, and hitting that is the sophomore Randy Woods out of Ben Franklin High School in Philadelphia. The last game, LaSalle put up 34 three-point shots, a school record. Driving is Murphy, the ball batted away. It'll be LaSalle's basketball. Let's look now at the starting lineups for this game as we joined it in progress. There's Simmons, Hurd, Lieberst, Overton, and Woods, Holland, Booth, Howard, Murphy, and Foster. The asterisk indicating returning starters. You can see DePaul has only 1 returning from a year ago.
Well, that's been one of the problems that Joey Meyer has had to face, is having this team find itself to see what its character really is.
Simmons gets it off, and it's a three-pointer to Woods. That's the unselfish play of Lionel Simmons.
Well, he is a team player, but when they really need him, he'll come to the forefront.
5 points in the game already for Woods. There's a steal by Simmons, kicked around, the battle is on, and who's going to get this one? Finally, they have a held ball, and the ball will go to LaSalle on the alternating held possession. The ball inbounds on the far side. There is Joey Meyer in his 6th year as head coach at DePaul. He's taken the Blue Demons to 5 straight NCAA appearances, and his opponent, Speedy Morris. Morris in his 4th year, the coach of the Explorers. Good effort that time on the far side by Stephen Howard. And it's going to be DePaul's basketball.
Well, there was a foul as he was bumped out of bounds on that play. You know, LaSalle really plays the defensive pressure. The guy who leads that is Randy Woods, number 14. We want to watch his defensive play here today.
Simmons committed a foul. There's the left-hander. Howard wheeling in the lane. 4 points now for Howard in the game. A 2-point lead for LaSalle. LaSalle from the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. The ball was kicked, so they'll reset the shot clock. DePaul, the independent. This is the 7th meeting, and Joey Meyer's team has last met this club in '87. They won that game when Dallas Comegee was the outstanding player for them.
Gary, DePaul's gone into their 3-2 zone right here.
From the corner, Overton. Doug Overton, he was an all-MAC performer a year ago. He's a junior out of Philadelphia, Dobbins Tech High School. David Booth, who's picked up about 15 pounds a year ago. Chucky Murphy from outside. A 2-pointer.
Boy, does DePaul need that outside shooting. They have really been cold, coming in here shooting 41%. But getting a lot of second shots as they really go to the offensive board.
Good ball movement, and Hurd who led the conference last year with three-point shots, hit this one. And it's 11-6 lead now for LaSalle. Elvon Foster, who works so hard. Great work ethic, gets it off to Holland. Foster ducking inside. Good penetration move that time. And it's 11-8 now in favor of the Explorers. Boy, the tempo really picking up early.
Well, it sure has, and it's going to keep that way all day, I think, Gary. I really like Foster. He's a guy that kind of leads this team defensively. He's a hustler for DePaul.
Beautiful pass from Hurd, but Overton missed the easy one inside. Becky Murphy on the move. They haven't really settled into this thing yet. Up and down the floor they've gone. Murphy inside to Holland.
Beautiful feed by Murphy, and that's what keeps him in the ball game as a starter, is that experience factor.
He really gives them stability. So DePaul has not been shooting well, getting good shots inside. There's a foul on David Booth. Booth getting a piece of Lionel Simmons' shot. That'll be the first foul on Booth. Lionel Simmons is 6'7", weighs 220 pounds. Last year he was third in the nation in scoring and fifth in rebounding. Very unselfish player on top of that. And Joe, you think that he has an inside-outside game, which is quite a combination.
Well, he's unusual. He has a power forward body, but he has the ability to take his man outside and create his offense off of the dribble. Most of his jump shots outside will come not from the screen, but from the dribble.
One thing, he kind of looks like James Worthy, doesn't he?
Well, I told him that last night, Gary. I said, anyone ever tell you look like James Worthy? He said, quite a few. He not only looks like him, but he has some of his moves also.
He cans them both, and LaSalle by 3. We're going to take a break. Back in a moment. 5 minutes gone by in this game. Let's catch up a little bit, Joe Behan, and look at the LaSalle strategy.
Well, LaSalle can't panic against the press, Gary. They must be effective on the defensive boards. They want to prevent Booth from having a record day.
And on the other hand, DePaul
wants to score out of transition without all those turnovers they've been making. They want to get the second shot, really pound the offensive boards, make Simmons shoot a low percentage.
And so, with 5 minutes gone by, LaSalle with a 3-point lead, and LaSalle has hit 3 of 5 from three-point range thus far. Stephen Howard, boy, he's got a nice touch, doesn't he?
He is really a finesse player. They've found a great one in this young man. An excellent student, and certainly a student of the game on the floor.
3.58 GPA out of the Dallas area, has 6 points in the game. Steal by Booth. David Booth out of Peoria, Illinois. This B.J. Tyler is in, and the freshman passed down a little too low for Foster to handle.
Well, one of the turnovers that has plagued this team.
Look at this one. That is a game for bragging rights of Alabama. And right now, Pat Dye's team with the lead. Outside three-point attempt by Woods. Tipped by Jack Hurd is good. Hurd at 6'6", he's around the basket. He played a guard last year, moved into the forward spot this season.
You would expect DePaul to really control those boards, and to give up an offensive follow like that is unusual for them. They're going to have to control the boards to win this game.
That is 6 straight shots now DePaul has hit. They're red hot as Foster cans that one. LaSalle with a 1-point lead, 13:49 to go in this first half.
Still got Holland checking Simmons inside here. This team doesn't necessarily play to Simmons.
Overton driving in, and Simmons nicely there to follow inside.
Great offensive board position by Simmons. He just has a knack for being in the right place at the right time, and that was a power forward move.
He in 23 straight games has scored 20 or more points, so Simmons has been a very consistent performer for the Explorers. 17-14, the Explorers in the lead. Stephen Howard, 7 in a row now. They've hit 7 shots in a row. They still find themselves down by 1.
I know Joey Meyer feels good about this, Gary, as they came in here shooting 41%.
They were shooting 37% in the second half, so their shooting even dropped off in the second half of play. That's Hurd from the corner, and it's going to be off of DePaul. LaSalle's going to make a change now. Bob Johnson will come into the ball game. Also coming in is Don Shelton. There is Shelton. He is a 6'8" sophomore out of Trenton, New Jersey. Johnson, the other guy I checked in, is their super sub. They call him the best sixth man in Philadelphia.
The ball zone this out of bounds, and you can look for LaSalle to work for the three-pointer right here. And probably, well, they took the inside jump.
That was Overton attempting it. Stephen Howard rips it down. B.J. Tyler, pass intended for Foster, broken up by Simmons, but it was touched last by Foster.
Joey feels that Tyler needs to show a little more patience offensively. He's a typical freshman with a lot of talent. He wants to overdo and push his offense a little bit, force some passes that he shouldn't make. A long one like that probably wasn't good judgment.
This is Bob Johnson, partially blocked by Booth, and Howard comes up with it. Here comes Tyler, the guy you're talking about, a freshman out of Port Arthur, Texas.
He reminds me a lot of LeBradford Smith from Louisville. I remember LeBradford's first game in the Big Four a couple of years ago, how nervous and tense he was in that game.
Booth with a big move. It doesn't go for him. Look at Foster hustle, and we're going to have a foul. It's going to go against Simmons of LaSalle. Boy, Foster showing how hard he played.
What a great hustle move that he made right there to pick up that foul. He just stays after that ball. Booth is a guy that can really create some offense with the ball. But watch Foster come after this rebound. He just won't give up, and he draws the foul there as he chased that ball down. A real great hustle play.
Joey Meyer says he just plays his heart out. There was an example of it.
He never quit.
In the ball game right now is Bill Hefner, number 33 for DePaul. Booth from outside. That's a two-pointer, and it's a one-point lead now for the Blue Demons.
Booth is the guy that Coach Speedy Morris worries about most.
There's Hefner picking up Simmons now, inheriting the role from Holland. Bob Johnson from the corner. Howard comes out of there with it. Off to Melvin Foster. Hefner out of Crystal Lake, Illinois, out last year with an injury. And they kick it back out, and here is B.J. Tyler. He's an exciting guy. Booth had to change his shot that time, but he gets a rebound, and he's fouled by Bob Johnson. There's Speedy Morris. He is the Rocky of the Philadelphia high school coaching circles. Doesn't have a college degree. What a job he's done, though.
There was the fourth shot by Booth. But as DePaul can do, they really go to that offensive board. Keep pawing after that ball. They're tough inside on that board.
DePaul by one. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, DePaul has done pretty well. 8 of the last 10. LaSalle's got to be a little concerned about their foul difficulty. They have 4 team fouls, and 2 of them against their All-American Lionel Simmons.
Well, that'll bring about a zone pretty quickly.
Hefner has come in the game. He's replacing Holland at that defensive spot. Now Holland is also in there now as DePaul with a 1-point lead with 11:08 to go in the first half.
Here's LaSalle in the 2-3 zone right now.
Quick hands by Woods, but it's off of Woods. It'll be DePaul's ball.
Speedy Morris up on the sideline over there helping the officials make that call.
Before the game's over, you'll probably have that coat off and the tie as well. B.J. Tyler now playing that point position.
This forces DePaul to look outside for their shot. They tried to force it inside against the zone right then. That's difficult to do
Joe,
against the 2-3.
You would think a team that's not shooting well, you'd want to zone them right away.
Well,
Make them shoot the ball outside.
I really thought LaSalle would open in the zone. We'll see how long they stay in it right now. But with Simmons with 2 fouls, I wouldn't doubt if they stay with the zone if DePaul doesn't shoot them out.
Booth, he just throws an errant pass picked up by Lionel Simmons. 5 turnovers against the Blue Demons. Overton from outside, a 3-pointer. As I mentioned, they shot 34 in the last game and hit 11 of them against Fresno State in a tournament out there in Fresno.
Simmons is unselfish because he's got a lot of faith in his teammates as good shooters.
That's traveling on Hefner. Bill Hefner trying to wheel inside. Now Stephen Howard will check back into the Blue Demons lineup.
That's 2 turnovers for DePaul trying to take that ball inside against the zone. They're going to have to get some outside shooting.
thing about DePaul, they have very good depth. They're looking for some leadership, a go-to guy. On the other hand, LaSalle not near as deep. And here's Lionel Simmons, three-point attempt. Rebound, Howard. He just checked in, and he comes up with a rebound. There's a steal by Woods, and a foul coming up. And the foul is going to go on Howard of DePaul. Good play by Randy Woods.
Well, keep your eye on him, Gary, because he is a real hustler defensively. And he's always scrapping after that ball. He's getting a hand on it, reaching in. That time he kind of decoyed down court, came back, stole that ball.
First foul on Stephen Howard. Johnson gets it into Lionel Simmons. Overton back to Lionel. Lionel has a real good extension on his shot.
That's a smaller man like Brooks, like Foster right there at 6'3", just couldn't put pressure on that jump shot.
4-point lead now for the Explorers. In it goes to Stephen Howard. Nice pass down low to Holland.
A good high-low set right there. And Howard is an excellent high post man because he can hit that jump shot, and he's a good passer from that position.
And he's very smart. That doesn't hurt either.
Very smart.
Lionel Simmons on the move. Holland tries to stop it. There's Shelton with the rebound, and a pushing foul is going to go inside. And it's going to go on Bob Johnson of LaSalle.
What a way to attack the zone right here. He got it to the middle. Howard goes up for the shot, spots Holland inside, gives him the good feed. Holland did a good job screening the defense off and opening up that passing lane.
Second foul on Johnson, 15 foul now against LaSalle. Johnson comes out of the ball game, and Hurd comes back in. 22-20, LaSalle by 2, 9:19 to go in the first half. The Rosemont Horizon is where we're playing this with B.J. Tyler from outside. Rebound by Levers, who's come back into the game.
The zone gives LaSalle a little better rebounding position.
Lionel Simmons, boy, he's got great body control.
He just can get up on that jumper, he can put it on the floor, and he's got great extension on the shot. It makes it almost impossible to jump.
He is a strong candidate for the Player of the Year. He was a finalist for the John Wooden Award last year. Shot missing by Booth. Follow inside by Holland, and he is fouled. And LaSalle picking up some fouls in a hurry, and Hurd is guilty of this one.
You know, what are you going to do, Gary, as a coach to guard Simmons? You've got him as a power forward. He can post up and take that ball inside, and yet he can extend on that jump shot so well that you need a big man in his face, but he's so mobile that he'll just move by you and take the jumper.
The L train.
The L train is here.
Yes, sir. A lot of people have not seen him on television. They haven't had that exposure. Holland with the free throw, and Hurd picking up the foul, which was his second foul. Kevin Holland, a man who was out all of last year with a stress fracture in his lower back. He's out of Cerritos, California, the only Californian on the DePaul team this year.
I would think more teams would use a matchup zone against a player like Simmons, where a big man could take him inside and a smaller, quicker guy could take him outside.
Steal it by B.J. Tyler, and he lost it. That's some of that exuberance of Tyler's. He's been very inconsistent. He's had some flashes of brilliance, then he has moments of total despair, and there's one of them latter.
He had them both in one play there.
That's 8 turnovers against DePaul, but you got to like Tyler. We talked to him yesterday. He loves to play, and he's got great confidence. It'll all come together.
Well, he made great anticipation in going for that steal, but he just fumbled his dribble as he took his eye off the ball.
DePaul now jumping into the zone. Outside three-point attempt nailed by Overton.
I got a feeling that Sal's going to enjoy going against that zone. Overton and Hurd and Woods can all shoot it from outside, as well as Simmons.
That's Terry Davis, who just checked in, a freshman out of College Park, Georgia, who missed the shot. He's maybe their best outside shooter. Simmons pulls up with a three and got it. The good shooters get those bounces, don't they?
Well, that shows his versatility. He can go outside or inside.
And LaSalle now has bumped it up to their biggest lead of the game. They lead by 8 at the 7:55 mark. Train, Lionel Simmons with 11 points, 3 rebounds, and all your years of coaching. Did you ever have anybody like him?
No, I didn't, Gary. And I tell you, I'd hate to beat Joey Meyer right now, trying to figure out in that timeout what he's going to do. The defense, this inside-outside threat that he's facing right now.
Well, the three-point shooting for LaSalle has really been paying off. Look at this, 6 of 11. DePaul's attempted only 1.
Well, 8 turnovers for DePaul and 13 points out of those turnovers for LaSalle.
Here's a guy that's been consistent. 10 points for Stephen Howard now.
Very impressive high post play.
LaSalle with that Philadelphia tough type of basketball. Boy, they love to play. They play the good defense. They're mentally tough. We have a timeout called now by LaSalle. Good pressure that time defensively by Joey Meyer's team. And Joey's team now trailing 30-24. Right here on ABC Sports. Well, Joby Hall, you were talking about the turnovers, 8 of them by DePaul. You know, they've committed 54 turnovers in the previous 2 games.
Well, that's been a problem, and they need to cut down those turnovers today, but 8 this early in the game certainly spells trouble for DePaul.
There's the Dutchman, Lieberst scoring, Milko Lieberst. He just walked in one day, and Speedy Morris said, I didn't know if he could play or not. We threw the ball out on the floor, and you know what a factor he's been for him. There's a pass to the baseline, did not work, and LaSalle's got it.
Now, you said he walked in, Gary, all the way from the Netherlands.
He had a cousin in Philadelphia. He said that his hair was all the way down to his shoulders. He was a little concerned about that.
Well, they don't look for him to score. He's a rebounder and defensive player.
Out it comes now to Overton, and it doesn't go. Rebound cleared by Holland. Gets it off quickly to Murphy. To Booth, and there's another turnover.
Oh, what a chance. What a time for a touch pass by Booth right there. And he had the man open under the basket. He tried to control the pass. Here it comes out. Good alley pass by Holland. Booth could have just flipped that ball over right then instead of bouncing it off his knee. They would have had a basket.
Here it's Hurd, and as Hurd made a move, he traveled to the ball. So that against LaSalle is their 4th turnover as opposed to 10 for the Blue Demons. Hurd with that baby-faced look, but boy, he's an aggressive guy out of Lititz, Pennsylvania. It's about an hour and 20 minutes from Philadelphia, and Speedy Morse saying he's a folk hero there.
Here's a good tight 2-3 zone. They're really clogging up the middle.
Booth from the corner. Simmons is there. Doug Overton. Well, he's a point guard who can score. It doesn't there, though, as Booth rips it down.
A little bit too straight at that basket. Not much arch on the shot. Put it up hard.
6 minutes to go in the first half. 32-24, LaSalle. LaSalle 2-0 coming in here. Booth with a 3-point attempt. Hair ball and the rebound by Hurd. Looks like DePaul right now a little out of sync.
Just pressing a little bit too hard. And that shot by Booth is typical of a team that's trying too hard. He is an excellent shooter from outside, but he shot an air ball.
He's got to score well for them to be a good team. He had 29 points against Hartford Monday night. There's a reach around by Holland, and then look at this hustle by Lieberst.
Holland backslide Simmons that time. That's unusual for a man that's an inside defensive man to use the backslide.
Lieberst has lost about 20 pounds from a year ago. Here's Simmons, always unselfish, looking for the open man. Hurd had to shoot it after all and got it to go.
Just a hustle basket. He just got in there and hustled it in.
Boy, this LaSalle team looking very impressive. They were 26-6 a year ago, lost in the first round of the NCAAs to Louisiana Tech.
You got to like their quickness and their hustle.
There's Simmons with the block, and the rebound is cleared inside.
Speedy Morris said that Fresno State just killed them on the board, but they're doing a better job here this afternoon.
The tempo was so much different that game.
Well, Fresno slowed it down.
Hurd three-pointer, and right now the Exploiters are really looking good.
Good timeout here for Joey Mount.
Hurd with 10 points, and LaSalle now has a 37-24 lead. Remember now, DePaul has won 89% of their games at home.
Durable and dependable. Don't you wish everything was made like Rubbermaid? And by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future, now at your Oldsmobile dealer.
Jack Hurd had just scored a moment ago. LaSalle on a 13-2 run now against DePaul.
Well, we've seen Simmons score inside and outside, but there's a third dimension, passing off, spotting the man inside. But Hurd really gives a great effort. The fumble pass he picks up and scores.
Seemingly they're getting a lot of that as far as the loose balls are concerned. There's baseline, and Simmons comes up with another one.
Another turnover to DePaul. They're going to have a nest full of them this first half.
Boy, they've got a dozen right now. 37-24 in favor of the Explorers. Look at that run in the last 3 minutes plus. 13-2.
Excellent movement offensively by LaSalle.
Howard is playing a strong game. He's hit all 5 of his shots from the field and now has 6 rebounds with that one. He's been their consistent factor thus far until he threw it away there. It's retrieved, however, by Daryl Cunningham, and he is fouled by Hurd. So Cunningham, the freshman, checking in, and Speedy Morris's team has things going well. And looking ahead at halftime, Rick Pitino, who's trying to revive that Kentucky tradition, will be part of the feature. And then Peter Jennings reports from Malta, that summit that's coming up, the historical summit. So stay with us during the halftime as Hurd has to come out of the ball game. He's committed his 3rd personal foul.
You notice, Gary, how many of these players are wearing the, what do you call those support shorts?
Pants that come below the shorts themselves, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we didn't have those in my time of coaching. I asked someone the other day what that was for, and it was to prevent hamstrings. In 29 years of coaching, I've never had a hamstring injury. I think it's more of a fad, don't you?
I think you're right. Here's Gerald Cunningham, who's a McDonald's All-American and not able to hit either free throw. Cunningham out of Westchester, St. Joseph's High School, which brought into the collegiate and pro ranks Isaiah Thomas. 37-24 in favor of LaSalle.
LaSalle really spreading the floor here. Really out wide, opening up that middle.
That time, good defense by Holland. Foster gets it off now to Murphy. Holland has Johnson in his face, but he still gets it. So after a 13-2 run, DePaul finally gets a bucket. 8 points for Holland. Crowd starting to get into this one now. Bob Johnson traveled. Last year, DePaul at home was 12-3. They're 3-0 this year. There he is, Speedy Morris. He coached at Roman Catholic High School, Kent Charter High School, came to LaSalle as a women's basketball coach for the first 2 years. First in the history of this game to become the head basketball coach after starting as the women's coach. 37-26, the Explorers.
Zone defense keeping DePaul on the outside.
Shot by Murphy missing. Howard hustles it in.
Second shot's a must for DePaul. They do a great job on the offensive board. If you're shooting a low percent, you've got to go to that offensive board.
Howard has been the guy that's kept them in there. 12 points, 7 rebounds. Outside, Woods. Oh, big three-pointer. We mentioned he hit 4 in the last game.
He really hustles these defense, too. If we take a look at him as he comes down, as the ball comes down here, he'll hustle this zone, always pawing at that ball, trying to get the steal.
He's got some tenaciousness about him. There he is, number 14, the man you're talking about. Here is Chucky Murphy, the walk-on who became a starter a year ago. He also is from St. Joseph's in Westchester.
Look how far he went out to chase that ball right there.
Daryl Cunningham, who's been having a tough time shooting the ball, follows his own shot, still doesn't go. He was 1 of 8 from the field coming into this game.
He's a fine talent, though, Gary. You know that he's going to be a fine player for DePaul down the road.
Lionel Simmons wants the ball, and he shoots it against Holland. Holland's doing a good job on defense.
It made him fade on that shot and just took a little steam off of it.
Murphy with the steal. Uh-oh, no look pass. A little too fancy, and Joey Meyer can't like that. Here's Overton on the move. Lionel Simmons. Blocked beautifully by Howard. Boy, there's some athletes out here. 40-28 in favor of LaSalle. 1:05 left in this first half. Howard, and he was looking to Holland, and they had a miscommunication, and Johnson comes up with the errant pass.
You can sense that DePaul just doesn't have faith in the outside shot. They're still trying to force that ball inside, and that's going to create turnovers against the zone.
That's 14 turnovers now against the Blue Demons. 39 seconds left in the half. 12-point lead for LaSalle. They're going to back it out, take the last shot of this first half.
We're going into a double stack right here, kind of a stall game. But he better get rid of it. That counts on him.
12 seconds on the shot clock, 21 on the game. Bob Johnson, three-pointer, And Johnson is fouled as he released the ball. Johnson picking himself up. He's kind of a pencil-thin guy. He is 6'5", but he only weighs 165 pounds.
Well, you don't want to foul a player on a three-point attempt. The percentage is low enough that you just don't want to put him on the free throw line when he's attempting a three-pointer. But that's inexperience.
It was Cunningham committing the foul.
They didn't call it a shooting foul.
Huh. It was after the shot they made the collision, and so now Don Shelton is checked in for LaSalle. Lieberst is in there, two big guys, and maybe follow on a missed shot as we wind it down here with 12 seconds left in the first half. Woods uses a pick, blocked nicely by Howard. Howard playing a great game. Up it comes to Booth. Who's going to put it up? Booth, and he's fouled, and committing a foul is Don Shelton.
Booth did a great job of controlling that pass. He was in traffic as that ball came to him. As a little bit behind him, but he does a great job. Good hands, salvages that pass. Right there, got a lot of pressure on him as he switched that ball over. Holland tried to take it away from him.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's going to take the ball there?
It looked like the option play as they were running to the outside.
So Booth will go to the line. Now, Booth has only 2 points, and he is the guy they have to have more scoring from. 2 seconds left in the first half. Out of Manual High School in Peoria, where he was the unanimous All-State performer. He gets that one. This is a good free throw shooting team. Even though they're not shooting well from the field, this team has been shooting 73% from the line.
Booth's been kind of quiet offensively.
Yes, he has. That's now 4 points for him in this first half. 10-point difference, and the first half comes to a close. Fast-moving game here at the Horizon in Rosemont, Illinois. At half, 40-30 in favor of LaSalle. We'll return with more of ABC's college basketball action between LaSalle and DePaul after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Wildcats won the national championship with 78. My broadcasting partner, Joe B. Hall, was the head coach. They've won 5 totally. Trying to revive that tradition is Rick Pitino. Of football and basketball. UC News is right on top of it. The summit at Malta is coming up, and for a report, let's go to ABC News' Peter Jennings. Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, that Big Four Classic. A game between Notre Dame and Louisville very impressive with an 84-73 victory. Still have some college football, and of course the one for bragging rights in Alabama everyone is following closely. But first, let's tell you this other game that's on ABC right now. Out in Corvallis, Oregon State leading Arizona. Arizona got beat the other night by Oregon. And there's the bragging rights for Alabama. Auburn, they're playing at Auburn. They're leading the Crimson Tide, who's unbeaten in the fourth quarter, 24-10. Well, we'll return with more of ABC's college basketball action between LaSalle and DePaul after this message and a word from our ABC stations. First for the Explorers.
Well, they've definitely handled the press. Only 7 turnovers. The defensive rebounding is a plus for them because they've gotten 9 defensive rebounds. And handling Booth, Speedy Morris said that would be a real factor, and he's 1 for 7 from the field. So all yeses, all pluses. DePaul, Boyd turnovers, no. 14 turnovers in the first half. Get second shot, no. Only 6 points from the second shot. Defense against Simmons, here they have done well in allowing him only 4 field goals and 11 attempts, but Gary has 6 assists.
They go with 6 rebounds.
That's right.
So he's done some other things. In that first half, the LaSalle Explorers went to the free throw line only 2 times, hit both of theirs. That's been a problem for them all year long. They have had the opponent at the free throw line more than they have. They had 24 more free throws by the opponents coming into this game.
DePaul is going to see a lot of zones, Gary, because I don't think they've hit a shot outside the free throw line.
There is Kevin Holland. They work it in well. Now, they were shooting 48% from the field in the first half, as Holland now with 10 points.
You can look for LaSalle to collapse that zone even more than they have been. They're going to force DePaul to shoot that ball outside.
Bob Johnson starts the second half in place of Hurd, who has 3 fouls. So Jack Hurd does not start the second half. Here's Simmons, who's playing with 2 fouls, and he nails it.
That's his patented move right there. 2 or 3 dribbles and up in your face. Great extension as he showed over Holland right then for the shot.
13 points. He averaged over 28 a game a year ago. He's had 2 20-point games before this, and there's a nice steal that time by Woods. 15 turnovers against DePaul.
I'll tell you, he's worth watching.
3-pointer by Woods. Rebound Johnson. He tried to save it to Simmons, and Simmons can't handle it. Well, look at Speedy Morris jumping around over there. He's into this one. He's got the coat off. Next to go will be the tie.
I tell you, he works those officials, too. He doesn't pass up a chance. And that the official right there in front of him that time was Roger Baldwin. He's from Warrensburg, Missouri. That's where I coached Central Missouri at one time, Gary.
42-32, 10-point lead for LaSalle. Now that zone being deployed once again. David Booth had that miserable first half shooting the ball. Howard didn't miss a shot in the first half. He gives it off nicely, tries to follow, and the rebound by Bob Johnson.
Excellent move, taking it to the basket against the zone on the baseline right there. Should have hit the basket.
Nice head and shoulder fake by Simmons, but he doesn't get it, and Woods will load it up. Rebound cleared that time by Foster. Foster gets it back out to Holland. You're right, though, Joe. They're going to see a lot of zones until they can start shooting effectively from outside. And it goes to Howard. Good ball movement to David Booth, and he needed that one, a 3-pointer.
Well, he can shoot the outside shot. I don't know why he's been so timid in putting it up. He's got to take that shot.
7 points for Booth, and now DePaul making a mini run at the Explorers. Bob Johnson being pressured by Booth. Simmons foul away. May have forced that one a little bit, but he retrieves it.
Good pressure by Booth. Booth got those long arms, and
boy, that skip pass worked well, didn't it? It shakes Johnson loose for the jumper.
Boy, do they have the outside shooters. You know, Hurd had 10 points at halftime, Woods 9, and Overton 8, all perimeter shooters.
45-35, back to a 10-point lead for the Explorers. Good movement inside to Howard, and Howard misses his first shot of the game.
There's 2 inside baskets that the ball should have had. Worked the ball well against the zone, but just didn't deliver. Put gray hairs in the coach's
Yes, sir. Tempo's a little more under control this half as it was the first half. It kind of out of kilter, but now the 3-point shot by Overton. Not a lot of point guards can shoot that well.
Well, Overton's unusual. He's a point guard that can score.
11 points for Overton. Here's Howard. That's been his spot all day. Rebound followed by Foster, and that's just typical of Foster. He is a good garbage man inside, always hustling. He played almost 4 minutes now of the second half.
I really believe that DePaul should try to press a little more. They
There's Woods on the give and go. He will be fouled, and the basket will count.
Woods is an intimidator. He challenged Foster there after he made that shot.
So,
and he'll intimidate you if you allow him.
2 coaches, Meyer, and here is Speedy Morris. Speedy Morris is a guy who was hired by Bill Bradshaw, who is now the athletic director at DePaul. He was there at LaSalle for 8 years, and he had to really fight to get Speedy the job, and boy, what a job he's done for the Explorers.
He's done an excellent job every place he's been. I kind of got sympathy for his coaching the women there. I had that experience over in Korea a couple of summers ago, and as I would get after them and really jump on the girls, fuss at them, they'd giggle, and I couldn't handle it.
Here's Foster now hitting outside.
All right,
that's a 2-pointer.
DePaul's got to press. They've got to hit the outside shot, and they've got to have more perimeter defense if they're going to get back in this game.
They trail 51-39, 15 and a half minutes left in the game. They've really extended their defense. They've come out really getting up tight on them.
They've got to cover on the perimeter. They've got to get good help on the drives.
There's the drive inside. No basket if had gone, and we're going to have a charging foul. Instead, Overton will be charged with a foul.
Well, good smart play by Howard right there to draw that charge.
15-21 left in this game. 51-39. The Explorers with the lead. from Philadelphia, leading DePaul from Chicago with 15-21, and Simmons, the leading guy for LaSalle. That's no surprise. Howard playing a strong game for the Blue Demons. Howard hit his first 6 shots in that first half of play.
What good balance scoring by LaSalle there is. And as we talked to Lionel Simmons last night, he said that he really had a lot of confidence in his teammates, and he looked to pass off a lot, not force his offense.
Boy, that's a shock. Arizona already lost to Oregon on that trip to the Great Northwest. Looks like they're going to get beat again. That's after beating Michigan last week here on ABC. There's the pressure, but they handled it very well. Booth to Howard. Howard, that left-hand shot, tipped up by Booth. Holland tries to come up with it. Instead, it's Bob Johnson.
Big possession after that timeout. LaSalle saved the basket right there.
Now with the defensive effort against Simmons, they started the game with Holland on it. Bob Johnson, their 6th man, and what a 6th man he is as he hits that one. He's one of those instant offense guys. He had to start the second half because Jack Hurd was in foul trouble.
I tell you, LaSalle's got lots of instant offense.
They've got some weapons, don't they? Here's Terry Davis, the freshman from Georgia. Rebound by Simmons.
Davis is in there for three-point shooting. He's not a great defensive player or ball handler, but he can shoot the three-point.
Nice defensive job by Howard, and Liebers gets it out to Lionel Simmons. Simmons ducking inside. They're hitting the boards, and eventually Howard comes out of there. Bodies on the floor, no one hurt. There's Woods trying to reach in. Boy, he's got some tenacity,
he stays right after you. Foster matches him with hustle, though.
Here's Davis, you mentioned, in to try to get something going outside, shooting-wise.
He's open back over there when Foster penetrates.
Booth is out of control, but they're going to get a foul out of this. And Booth hits the deck pretty hard, getting up slowly. Well, we mentioned Rick Pitino. We had him on our feature at halftime, and he's leading Bob Knight's team at the Hoosier Dome, 29-21.
Surprising effort by those young Kentuckians.
Going to be a long year, you think, for the Wildcats?
Well, I tell you, that shows the effect of Rick Pitino and his coaching, because that certainly wasn't expected.
You just saw that big game down in Alabama. Auburn still with the lead. Baseline. Howard couldn't quite control that one. 53-39 in favor of the Explorers. Intended for Simmons. Holland with good defense. Saved by Liebers. So the man from Amsterdam very quickly converted that one. He has 4 points. A lot of players coming over from across the ocean and impacting this college game, and he's going to be one that's going to help this team as time wears on. He's just a sophomore.
LaSalle really extends that zone. They'll try to trap on the side over there, but the way that Woods plays his defensive position, he comes all the way out to cover guard. That should open up someone around that free throw line. That
was his 17th turnover against DePaul, and Joey Meyer retooling, trying to get this team back in the game. Struggling, shooting outside against the zone, and one of the reasons, Joe, is that they're missing a couple of players. One in particular, Brad Neiman, who is the all-time leading three-point shooter. He's out with a back injury, and then they lost Curtis Price, good defensive player, with a wrist surgery situation. So Joey has had his troops depleted, and right now trails in this game 55-39.
Joey talked about these 2 players earlier yesterday, and really misses them. He misses that outside shooting. He's got to have that perimeter shooting to go against this zone.
13:06 left in this game. LaSalle has been in command. Lionel Simmons backing inside. Boy, that's tough. How do you stop that?
Well, you just don't stop that. You got to get the defense to collapse from the outside. You can't let him take you one-on-one. Somebody's got to drop in there and help on that dribble. Once he puts that ball on the floor, someone should be coming from the weak side and give help.
L-Train with 15 points. Howard lost it, but he's fouled on the way up. Foul, I think, is on L-Train, isn't it? Let's see if we can pick it up. 2 men in the area. If it's Simmons, it's his 3rd.
Howard does a good job right here, taking it strong to the basket. And you saw that Simmons reached in right there, tried to go for the steal, got him on the wrist.
you can hang on that rim if you have to protect yourself balance-wise. That's one of the rule changes they put in this year.
Right, it's not a technical if you're hanging on the rim for safety reasons.
So there is Howard, who's been the bright spot in this game with those numbers, 12 points and 8 rebounds. Howard, as we mentioned, an outstanding student. He received the NIT Student Athlete Award this year, 3.58 GPA in computer science. And his parents are educators, so obviously the academics were very important in his home.
Really has a nice soft shot. He puts it up there just like a feather. Good release, good follow through of the shot.
57-41 in favor of the Explorers, and Simmons trying to add to his total. Rebound cleared by Howard. Howard at the beginning of the year was not the starter at center. They went with a 7-footer, James Hamby, but they're going to go with Howard now the way he's playing. In it goes from B.J. Tyler, who's checked in. Trying to draw the foul as Lieberst. Instead of foul on Bob Johnson.
The early basketball.
There goes the tie. I told you it'd come off sooner or later.
It's not that hot in here, Gary. He's just looking for a comfort zone.
I tell you what, I hope he doesn't go any further with all of this.
I tell you, when you're 16 ahead here in the Rosemont Arena, you can afford to take off your tie. But early in the year, Gary, the basketball books, the prognosticators on the collegiate scene were saying that without Lionel Simmons, LaSalle would just be a fair ball club. But I'll tell you, he's got some support people. These guards and the perimeter people are just excellent basketball.
And he's going to pick up another player at the second semester because Bron Holland, a transfer from St. Bonaventure, big 6'8" power guy, will join this team. 57-43 in favor of the Explorers. Three-pointer Woods. Tyler inside, tried to control it. It's off of LaSalle. Now let's go back and watch Speedy Morris just getting kind of in character for the game. Boy, he ripped it off and hurt. There was a game earlier where he tried to rip his tie off and he about choked himself to death.
He got the wrong end of the tie. Oh, he did a good job. He's had practice.
B.J. Tyler back in, trying to create something. Again, the hesitancy to shoot from outside, so apparent.
Well, they're well covered right now. LaSalle doing a good job in their zone. DePaul just not having the movement to get the man open. They're just working the ball on the perimeter, and LaSalle's adjusting very well.
Woods committed the foul, his first. Joy, of course, he's the guy that succeeded Ray Meyer as head coach. The first time in history a son succeeded his father as a head basketball coach, and that occurred 6 years ago, and Ray now a commentator on the radio station here in Chicago. Here's Booth, three-point attempt. Overton has it. Off to Lionel, pulls up, has his own missed shot, fall away, and doesn't get that one as well. And they're going to reload a three-pointer, Overton, and again they've got it. Simmons forces it inside, and he's fouled by Hamby, who's just checked into the game.
Lionel just missed 2 jump shots from short range. He decided to take that one in to the basket and drew the foul.
I was so impressed with Lionel Simmons last night, visiting with him. Very articulate, very modest young man. He grew up in a family, had a couple of brothers that had some problems with the law. He's a guy who says my education is so important to me. And most people feeling he'll be a lottery pick in the NBA draft.
Well, he fits in well with this ball club.
Boy, he said his favorite team is the Lakers, and you mentioned he looked a lot like Worthy. Is there something there?
Well, maybe there is. Yeah, he's got a lot of talent. He's got good physical ability. He's a smart player. He's unselfish. He's all the things that you'd want in a team man.
You saw Don Shelton just checking the ball game. 16 points for Simmons. He's 3 of 3 from the line. So DePaul trying to make a move with 11 minutes left in this game. Howard is trapped in a foul on Hurd, and that's his fourth. Jack Hurd has been in foul trouble all year long. He was in foul trouble at Fresno. He had 3 in the first. Now has picked up his fourth, and he'll have to come out of there.
He's aggressive. He's trying to play just like the other Woods and Hurd. All are aggressive players outside. They all pawn for the ball. They put great pressure on you. They tend to intimidate their opponents with that pressure.
He was the MAC Rookie of the Year. As you mentioned, he led the conference in three-point shots, but he's been on the bench a lot in the early part of this season.
DePaul just more or less setting up in a 1-3-1 offense, trying to get the ball into Howard and letting him feed. That time Tyler just goes in. And he did this in practice yesterday, Gary.
Yeah, he did.
He tried to anticipate what his teammates going to do and make the pass. And Joey Meyer didn't like that. He's got to be more sure of himself when he penetrates and feeds on.
He had 8 turnovers against St. John's, the game that really hurt him. Here's Lionel Simmons, very unselfish, gets it off to Johnson, three-pointer. Out of there comes Foster, and he is fouled.
Foster was forced into a walk right then as he was protecting the ball and just got knocked over from the back.
That's a 17th foul, so they'll be shooting free throws as Daryl Cunningham, 32, comes in. I like this guy. He plays a lot of enthusiasm. He'll just get better as Booth will sit down. It's been a long day for David Booth. But Cunningham, out of the St. Joseph High School area, Westchester, loves to play this game. He's fundamentally very sound. He's just not shooting the ball real well.
The fans should take a look at him because he's going to change in the next couple of years. He's just a freshman. He's already a sound defensive player. Goes to the boards well, but just has to adjust his game to the collegiate level.
Jim Anderson, the new coach at Oregon State. What a big win that would be for him after replacing Ralph Miller at Oregon State. And Arizona would lose 2 on the road in the state of Oregon. That is a shocker. And this may surprise some people. LaSalle leading with a 59-45 count, 10.5 minutes to go. That's thrown away.
LaSalle went into that spread offense right there, almost a 4-corner, Gary, and had Simmons in the point, penetrating and feeding off.
9 turnovers against LaSalle, against the 18 by DePaul.
Still in that 1-3-1 offense, looking for Howard, trying to get the ball to him, letting him feed it inside.
Foster from outside, rebound cleared by Overton. Very creative, this guy. He's the trigger man. Gets it off nicely on the feed. A basket by Simmons and a foul as well. Boy, that was a nice pass.
Good move. He took it into traffic, made the pivot, saw his man out of his peripheral vision, made the excellent pass. Here's Simmons filling that left lane. Good pass by Overton. He takes it strong to the basket, draws the foul, and a chance for that three-pointer.
B.J. Tyler was guilty of the foul. And Simmons at the line. Last year, this guy shot 71% from the free throw line. Had 60 coming to the game, and he's hit 20 points. And Joe, that now is his 24th game in a row he scored 20 or more points.
He's just a fine athlete. He's the kind of guy you like to see do well.
Cunningham can't get it. Shelton tries to come down with it. He traveled with it. Now we got one official saying travel, one a foul, and the foul will overrule.
I agree with the foul, Gary. The foul caused the travel.
Well, it's going to be
We'll
Stephen
take a
Howard.
look right here. There he is over the back right there. It gives him a little knee, sends him out of bounds. I don't know if that was a forearm shiver or just...
So Howard with 2 personal fouls. He comes out of the ball game, as does Hamby. So Joey Meyer trying to find a better combination with 9:38 left in the game. Overton creating again, gets it to Wood. Boy, Wood's at 6 foot can really shoot it. He was a Philadelphia Player of the Year on one poll. He averaged 20 points a game in high school, and as we mentioned, he can shoot it from outside.
Look at this aggressiveness defensively also. He really puts pressure on the passing.
Another turnover, and the turnovers continue to mount for the Blue Demons.
What has impressed me about LaSalle, Gary, is the way that they play together. They seem to know where each other are going to be. When someone penetrates, he knows where his teammate is. The teammate without the ball is always presenting himself, making himself available for the pass. They play real well together.
And this guy is so unselfish, and he just nails another one. That's 22 points for the All-American. Lionel L. Train Simmons. Remember that name.
All right, they spread the floor and let him take it in the middle on the dribble, just like you would a point guard.
You think he could do that anytime he wants to.
Look who comes up with the ball right here. Woods on another steal.
Overton converts at the other end, and he's fouled. And right now, this is becoming a rout. LaSalle is just absolutely running away with this game with 8:50 to go.
Here he is. This is Randy Woods making the good feed here to his teammate Doug Overton. Overton usually taking the middle on the fast break. They switch positions right here, and they take the ball to the basket, really move it out with a lot of acceleration. They're on top of their game right now. They feel good about themselves. They're up-tempo. They're really hustling, staying alert defensively, and just playing the complete game. There's no stopping them now.
And they haven't played at home yet. This is their third road game. There's a move inside by Booth. Simmons, no, check that. Shelton over the back, committing the foul.
Booth made a good move driving the baseline against the zone.
Shelton with his third foul.
Booth is one that can put the ball on the floor well, too. He just has a knack for finding the opening in the defense and getting a shot. But great move right there by Shelton. My gosh, he could have got away with that one.
Speedy Morris said, we're like a football team. We play a game, then we have a week off. Their next game is until December 11th when they play Penn at home, and they played those 2 games in Fresno and had a lot of time off. But as the season wears on, they will have, some tough games ahead of them, obviously, but they will be the favorite in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
The MAC.
The MAC. NAAC.
Well, this game right here is going to get them some national attention, Gary. They've looked good in this ball game. They've got the superstar. They got a great support cast, and they're playing really a good up-tempo pass.
3-point attempt that time by Woods. He thought he was fouled as he hit the deck. Up it comes to Foster. And a foul on Lieberst. They say Lieberst, when he came here, couldn't speak very good English, but he has handled it very well in a short length of time. And so the Dutchman there committing his personal foul, his second of the game.
You see how he reacted to that foul, Gary? That's a sign that they've got the killer instinct. They're really wanting to go. They want to pour it on right now. That's something that you like to see in your ball club, especially early in the year like this.
Well, DePaul's won 6 in a row. The last time was that LaSalle beat this DePaul team was in 1949. That was before the years of Tom Gola, when LaSalle won the national championship in 54 and were the runners-up in 55.
Some great teams back then. I can remember their team coming to Kentucky and playing in the UKIT with Tom Gola, super player, and fine ball club.
We're going to take a break at the 8:07 mark. We'll return with more of ABC's college basketball. Is led by as many as 23, now with a 19-point lead. And Joby Hall, if you look at the shooting stats in the second half, you can see what's happened to DePaul.
4 for 12 just won't get it done, Gary, and they're just not getting a second shot. So they're not going to the offensive board. They're playing tentative, and LaSalle is just out hustling.
Well, tomorrow night, a very special Hallmark Hall of Fame presentation. Angela Lansbury stars in the world premiere showing of the best-selling novel, The Shell Seekers. That's tomorrow night at 9, 8 Central here on ABC. Well, this LaSalle team, led by Simmons, is going to be something that the entire country is going to have to be aware of, and not just the MAC conference. They are a fine basketball team. They were 26-6 a year ago. And they come to Simmons, and they move it quickly, and Lieberst can't quite handle it.
Now this is, to my knowledge, Gary, is this the only time that DePaul is pressed?
Well, the other thing that you pointed out, Joe, is that DePaul not handling the zone very well and really didn't practice against it yesterday. They shouldn't have been that surprised because LaSalle zoned in the previous game a lot.
Well, they're going to be practicing against the zone because they're going to face a lot of it.
David Booth, they had good rotation on the ball that time. They moved it around.
They have got to press. They've got to go on and take the outside shot.
Pretty hard to press, so when you have guys like Woods and Overton. Woods should never have tried that shot. Should have pulled it out. Comes up with a steal, and he's fouled. What effort by Woods.
But see, they've turned the ball over virtually twice against the press. And I think Joey's waited a little longer than he should have. It might have ignited his team if he'd used the press earlier. Woods does not want to go in there and shoot. He is a great perimeter shooter, but boy, what hustle as he comes back and gets that ball. You got to admire a guy that's got the tenacity that he has. He is really a hustler and a great team player, and he kind of sets the pace for this whole ball club.
He is a toughie. He is a tough guy.
That's it. He's tough.
You know, he was a prop 48 guy, and yet he graduated 11th in a class of 675, but didn't score well enough on the entrance exams, and he's got a 2.45 GPA since he's been at LaSalle, so he's really done a good job academically.
Well, I just hate that prop 48 tag that a kid gets, Jerry, and especially one that can come on and make these grades. I thought you were going to say he was a Golden Glove boxer.
Here's the shot by Foster, rebounded by Overton. Overton and Woods both have that toughness, so they'll pick you up at the other end defensively, and they'll scramble for the ball.
Well, it's kind of the trademark of this ball club is their hustle, their aggressiveness, and then they've got that great player in L. Train.
Speedy Morris said that basketball is so important to these kids that grow up in Philadelphia. They play without nets. They play on courts that have cracks in them, and they want to play, and they're playing like they're playing on a playground right now. They are playing hard. Nice job by Tyler right there as he came up with the steal. And two hustlers in there as Woods was fighting him right back for that ball. B.J. Tyler, that's off the mark, a three-point attempt. And who's this going to go to? It'll go to the Explorers. DePaul had the people under the basket. Booth just fumbled it out of bounds. They're just not alert, aggressive. They're laying back a little bit too much. I think they should come and get LaSalle. They started the year with wins over Ohio State and North Carolina State. Lost to the buzzer to St. John's. Got buried by UNLV. Beat Hartford, and now today having a long day. That drive inside, they wave the basket off. It's a charging foul. Well, the way LaSalle can score from the outside, you've got to make them drive. You've got to come out, put the pressure on the ball. Don't give them that outside shot, and try to get good help from the weak side once they put the ball on the floor. DePaul did the job right there, and a good, smart play by Booth. And Overton picked up his second foul. 6:14 to go, 70-51 in favor of LaSalle. There's the opening, right at the free throw line now. They've extended their defense so far. Here comes Simmons on the break. There's that nice-looking shot. Doesn't go for him. Rebound inside, and look who came out of there again. It's Overton. Well, the point guard gets the foul on the offensive board, and DePaul just not protecting that board. 15 points for Overton. Howard has really been shut down in the second half after having a strong first half. Booth missing, and a mistimed jump that time by Davis, and the ball will go to LaSalle. Weak side rebounder, came in too tight, got too far under the basket. The ball went over his head. So Doug Overton, a junior out of Philadelphia. He comes out of the same high school that produced Hank Gathers, who's now playing, of course, out of Loyola after transferring from USC. Here's LaSalle in a stall pattern, a double stack. He'll dribble, guy will pop out, take the ball. He'll go back into the stack, and they'll let someone else handle the ball. Here comes Simmons, takes it to the basket. And if you switch off or you're trying to double team, they'll find the open man. And a foul outside against Foster. What do you think about Simmons? I was talking to him last night. I said, do you want to play the number 3 spot or the number 2 spot in the NBA? And he said, I'm working on being able to play that number 2 spot, which of course would be a guard spot in the NBA. A shooting guard. Yep. I'm not so sure that he couldn't do that. He's got the athletic ability to play outside. He's a good ball handler, good dribbler. I think he's had a bad shooting night. Yeah, he has, but it hasn't affected his game. He's still doing other things well. Still passing that ball, and he's still a threat. He's still drawing that defense, which helps his teammate. His presence on the floor helps every player out there with him. He is definitely a big-time player. I was really looking forward to seeing L Train, and he has not disappointed me. 74-51, a shocker here for the DePaul fans who right now are very quiet. They're not used to seeing this team lose at home, especially by this margin. Here's Howard, who got that shot in the first half. Hasn't done much in the second half. There's where the ball has to go. He can take a look inside, or he can fan it opposite where the pass comes into him and let someone shoot that little jumper on the weak side. 18 points for Stephen Howard, 4.5 to go. Awfully hard to pressure this team. They all handle the ball extremely well. You got a guy like Simmons who can play like a guard. Spreading the floor. Look for a back door. 17 seconds on the shot clock. Simmons, good body control, but he lost the handle that time, and a foul is going to go on Liebers. We have a final now in that game between Alabama and Auburn has beaten Bill Curry's team, the first loss of the year for the Crimson Tide, 30-20. Boy, there's no lost love between those two teams.
Well, that whole state is divided two ways, Gary. You're either from Alabama or you're for Auburn.
There's no halfway. That was the first time they played the game at Auburn. They usually played at Legion Field in Birmingham and moved it down there. Can you imagine those Crimson Tide people going down there? They must have thought they were taking their life in their own hands.
Well, that decision went to the state legislature. Can you believe that?
Cunningham comes in. I'm Gary Bender along with Joe B. Hall. We're at the Horizon in Rosemont, Illinois, the home of the DePaul Blue Demons. But the home-standing Blue Demons have not been treated very well here today. They trail 74-54 with 4:14 to go. Stephen Howard in the game now with 19 points, which ties his career high. Woods from outside, three-pointer. Rebound by Howard. Howard hasn't quit playing. 4 minutes left to go. Terry Davis. Rebound cleared now by Simmons. So the guys from Philadelphia have come in here today and made quite a statement in the Windy City. They'll get some attention in the ratings. That ball was deflected so they can retrieve it in the backcourt. It was touched by Kevin Holland.
Well, they're in their double stack stall again. Simmons penetrates. Somebody pops out. They go back and stack.
Awfully tough to pressure this team.
Well, it's awful tough to deny the ball right here because there's no chance to help on the dribbler outside.
Three-point attempt, and Overton nailed it.
Can you imagine the team working the stall and then taking a three-pointer and hitting it?
Boy, it's been a long time since DePaul's been in the 50s at this stage of a game. Rebound cleared by Liebers. LaSalle's had a big day. They'll go for the year to 3-0. Their next game at home against Penn. DePaul, on the other hand, has a tough game Tuesday. They play Houston in Houston.
Here's Holland outside trying to cover Simmons.
Simmons is wheels inside. Unstoppable when he gets in that low.
Well, he took him right to the block and got no help. DePaul's got to get help on him when Simmons puts the ball on the floor.
24 points for Lionel Simmons, who had a high a year ago of 38. He also has 13 rebounds. Missed by Foster. Simmons battling for it. It'll be off with DePaul. Bill Hepner now is going to come into the DePaul lineup.
Holland just took himself out right then. And he's really showing fatigue over there on the bench.
Holland has had some problems with that back a year ago. He wears kind of a corset around the midsection trying to strengthen the back. But let's look at some other scores. We mentioned earlier today, Louisville, an impressive win over Notre Dame, a game that was carried from the Hoosier Dome. And Michigan rebounding after losing to Arizona, beating Iowa State. North Carolina, who you'll see a week from today when Joe and I will be in Iowa City. The Hawkeyes will play host to the Tar Heels. Georgetown having an easy time. And Missouri, they won the Maui Classic over there. Looked very impressive as Norm Stewart's team looks like they're going to be very tough for the Big Eight, as is Kansas, as is Oklahoma. That's going to be quite a race this year.
Young Joe Dean coaching Central Florida, taking on North Carolina was quite a joy. But Joe's an excellent coach and recruiter.
Well, this on Monday Night Football, we're going to see the Bills going against the Seattle Seahawks, and that's Jim Kelly, who's having such a good year for Buffalo. The thing that's interesting about that game, Steve Largent, the wide receiver for the Seahawks, his next touchdown catch will be the 100th of his career, an NFL record. It's Monday night here on ABC. Well, the guy you were talking about that just was exhausted a while ago is Kevin Holland. Coming out, the junior from Cerritos, California. He's rebounded well for this team, but he's kind of had an up and down year, as has this DePaul team thus far.
Well, he was really called on to perform a big job today, and I would say he had some success, Gary. I think he put a lot of pressure on L Train, made him force some of his shots, and kept his percentage down. And that was one of the aims of DePaul going into this game, was at least make him shoot a 4%.
If you're wondering, L. Train Simmons with 24 points, 13 rebounds. As we have 2:26 left in the game, it's been LaSalle all the way. They've been dominating. Off it comes to Lionel. Pulls up with that jumper. Not shooting well percentage-wise, but boy, he still has been impressive.
They have not hurt DePaul's press. I think Joey will wish that he had gone to the press earlier. If nothing more, to just get his team to play more loose and aggressive.
Boy, Daryl Cunningham just needs a shot to go, doesn't he? There's another miss. He just can't seem to get the ball in the hole right now.
That's pretty typical of the whole team here.
Yeah, you're right. And that's been the problem, the shooting. They're shooting 41% as a team coming in here. A minute 50 left, 79-55, LaSalle. Simmons playing keep away as he comes outside. Bill Hepner trying to give chase.
And that's the philosophy of Joey Myers.
Boy, he just ran him through all those picks and got open, didn't he?
Put a big man on Simmons outside, and I think he loves that.
I think he can play at that guard spot in the NBA. I don't think there's any question.
Well, he can certainly beat a big man. I don't know if he could keep smaller big man outside, but he could sure take him inside the score.
Here's Terry Davis. They need his outside shooting, and he gets a three-pointer there.
All right, I like that movement offensively against the zone right then. They took it inside and got it back outside.
That one's kicked over us and out of play. So with 1:09, mass substitutions coming in for LaSalle as Speedy Morris is going to clear his bench. One of those guys is his son, Keith Morris, who will come into the ball game. Number 42 is Stock, Mike Stock, a junior. Also, Hurd has come in. Jeff Neubauer has come into the ball game.
I tell you, Hurd hasn't given us many minutes today, but he's been impressive, Jerry.
Yeah, he got in foul trouble the last game, so he's got to learn to stay out of foul trouble. A shot put up and through by Mike Stock.
Well, there's another three-point shooter for LaSalle.
And again, remember, they're going to pick up another player at the semester break. Could help as Foster answers at the other end.
I think that's Stock's first points of the year.
It is. Added out, it'll still be DePaul's basketball. 46 seconds left. Are you surprised? Or I sure am by this game.
I'm surprised, and Joey's got a problem. He said it going into the game, but his team has really been flat. He was looking for a good home crowd today to bring him out of the doldrums, but they definitely haven't come out of it in this game.
Well, they'll lose their first game at home. They were 3-0 coming into this game as this one's winding down. At the other end, Cunningham even missed the stuff. He is really snake bit now as far as shooting is concerned.
He left too soon, Gary. He just had his timing off, and his takeoff was too early. He found himself having to stretch the basket and it just wasn't there.
I tell you what, though, when he gets that first one to go, he could really start to come on. I just get that feeling. I had him in the McDonald's All-American. He is quite a player.
All right, a good fast break here. He certainly could have gone in and laid it on the board, which probably he should have done.
At the line now is Speedy Morris, his son Keith Morris, who missed the shot. Another son, Brian, is one of the managers on the basketball team. Here's Hepner from outside. Little ragtag right now with 14 seconds left in the game. And DePaul will get the basketball. 12 seconds left.
There's Hamby in the game, 244, 7'1". He just came in.
Hepner able to score. He was a McDonald's All-American out of Crystal Lake, Illinois. 83-62, 2 seconds left. Shot on the way, and it's over. An impressive win for William Speedy Morris. 83-62, the final count here from the Rosemont Horizon. And the Explorers have come in to a place that's not an easy place to win. And they have thoroughly thrashed the Blue Demons. Dominating game. As the L train, Lionel Simmons was impressive, but it wasn't just Simmons. It was a complete team effort.
Well, they're a fine ball club, and they play well together. They play like a seasoned team.
Seasoned they may be, as they now go to 3-0. DePaul, on the other hand, at 3-3. 83-62, LaSalle. Convincing 83-62 win for LaSalle over DePaul, and the guy we talked about all game long, the L train, Lionel Simmons. Lionel, 26 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. Evaluate your play.
Well, the numbers sound good, but I really don't think I played as well as I'm capable of playing. But I think to come into DePaul and to win so convincingly, I think I have to be satisfied with my play.
Coming into a place like this, it's been a long time since the Blue Demons were beaten like this. You guys had a good win on the road. You haven't been home yet.
Well, you know, I think good teams win on the road, and we've shown that the last 3 games. And to come into DePaul, such a historic area, I've been in awe just to be in this facility, to see Coach Ray Myers, a legendary coach, and to play in this gym and to win on the road here is just tremendous.
We were talking last night where you thought you'd like to play in the NBA. You were handling the ball pretty well. You think you can play the number 2 spot?
Well, I think I still need to improve in that area, but I think as the season goes along and with the summer coming up, I think by the time the draft comes around, hopefully I'll be prepared to play the 2 spot.
Now, you were telling me the Lakers is your favorite team, and Joby Hall saying you look a little like James Worthy.
Well, the Lakers have always been my team, and it's really hard to say that. I hope I only look like him and not play like him, because he's such a fascinating player, and I just want to work hard and try and be the best player that I can be.
Lionel, the thing that really impresses me about you is how unselfish you are.
Well, it shows. We have a lot of good players, and today everyone seemed to double team me as soon as I got the ball, and I was able to find the open man, and they knocked down some big jump shots for us.
Well, you should have a good year, and continued success to you.
Thanks a lot.
The L trade, thank you, Lionel Simmons. Let's go over to Joby Hall now.
Congratulations, Coach, and what a great win on the road.
Yeah, as you know, Joe, anytime you can go away and win a game, it's a great win. And when you can win at Rosemont, where they're like 133-16, I'm ecstatic. The kids worked hard, they played well, and played good enough to win.
What a pleasure it is to coach a player like Lionel Simmons.
Yeah, he makes we don't have to coach with him. He's such a great kid on and off the court. He's never given us an ounce of trouble, and he just plays the total game. And you're right. It's just so refreshing when you have a young person with that talent and that capable, and everyone looks up to him.
We were talking to him last night about being so unselfish, and he said that he had a lot of confidence in his teammates and that he didn't mind passing the ball.
No, that's true. We do have a lot of offensive weapons, and Doug and Jack and Bobby and Randy Woods can all hit 3-pointers, and he'll get it to them when he has double coverage. That's why I get upset when they don't look for him. But he's a refreshing young man, Joe. We're fortunate to have him.
Well, he did everything today, and it was a joy to see him play, but it was also a pleasure to see the hustle of your entire ball club.
Well, thank you, Joe. And I think that, again, we're very happy to beat a DePaul team, and I think it's going to be a good team by the end of the year. And they're so athletic, and I think that we hung with them. That's what one of our main concerns was, can we run with that team? And we did. And I just hope we'll continue to get better, and if we do, we're going to be a good team.
Now we'll go to Gary with Coach Meyer.
Joey, kind of give me a post-mortem, I guess, as to what happened here today. I know you were concerned yesterday about your shooting, and again today it didn't come around the way you wanted it to.
Well, just to be honest, we're not a very good basketball team right now. We haven't adjusted to losing to Price and Neiman and our three-point shooter and our athlete. We're not playing very well. We're starting to press. We're starting to get nervous. I mean, that's just not a DePaul basketball team that was out there today. And, I think LaSalle's an excellent team, and they exploited all our weaknesses. And, we're just going to have to go back to the drawing board and try to get it together.
It looks like you may see a lot of zone this year until you prove you can shoot against it.
Well, everybody's been saying that. We played 5 games and nobody played a zone. We couldn't score against the man-to-man. Now we can't score against the zone, so they might as well just show up and we're going to have a hard time scoring. It's sad right now. We're just not playing well, and we're pressing and everybody's out of sync and they're trying to do too much, and it's just not a good team right now.
Is this one of the bigger challenges you've had since being coach here at DePaul?
Well, I thought last year was going to be the biggest challenge I ever had, and we pulled a rabbit out of our hat. This one's going to even be worse than that right now. We're really struggling right now. I think we're just, we're young and we're looking, we're missing the shooter and missing the athlete. We're missing a lot of things, but, if we're going to get this thing together, we're going to have to work awful hard.
Well, you beat Ohio State, you beat North Carolina State, you lost at the buzzer to St. John. Somebody said that really took a lot out of you when you guys lost that one.
Well, I think it did. You can always look for reasons and excuses. Everybody says you're in finals and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know what happened to this basketball team. The first 2 games, I looked at us and said, hey, we're a pretty good basketball team. And since the St. John's game, we just kind of gone. And maybe that's a sign of a young team. But I see a little bit more out there. We really are pressing. And it just, we're really struggling.
You'll get it back, Joey. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Gary.
Joey Meyer. So the Blue Demons going down to defeat to LaSalle. LaSalle, very impressive today. We'll be back with some final thoughts in just a moment.
Years ago seemed
62 victory over DePaul. The last time they had beaten the Blue Demons was way back in 1949. But now Speedy Morris with a guy by the name of L Train, Lionel Simmons, came into the Windy City today and really made a strong statement. They're going to be quite a basketball team the rest of the season. So the final once again, 83-62. as LaSalle defeating DePaul. Lionel Simmons with 26 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. So the Rosemont Horizon was good to the Explorers. For Joe B. Hall, I'm Gary Bender. So long, everybody. The executive producer of ABC's College Basketball is Jeffrey Mason. The producer of today's game is Joel Phelps. Directed by Bill Webb. Technical Director Mike Blazo. Associate Director Dick Buffington.
Yes, and as long as you must replace